Hey folks, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another part, probably part 10. And I'm trying to go faster so we can get this done because we're at 10 parts already. So I apologize if I don't talk about some of these more specifically, but more in my DVD collection. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? 3 Fugitives. 10 Cup. 3 Amigos. So I Married an Axe Murderer. I do wish Mike Myers would have done more movies like this where he was, somewhat of a normal guy in them. Would have been nice. And I like the other ones I've mentioned. I like 3 Fugitives and such. Rain of Fire. The Proposal. I like Sandra Bullock. I don't mind Ryan Reynolds. The Phantom. Actually, a pretty decent time waster watching it again. Pacific Heights. Good for Michael Keaton. Modern Promise for Chevy Chase. I thought this one actually really sucked, to be honest. I was disappointed in that film. Sorry about that, folks. Just my throat. Got this for the Hulk Hogan collection. Mr. Nanny. I know I have Suburban Commando, and I know I have No Holds Barred. They're over there, actually, I believe. Is Suburban Commando... I know I have it. Yeah, it is. And No Holds Barred's over there, so I got Mr. Nanny for the Hulk Hogan collection. And also someone sent me the... I forget what that was. Maverick. I actually enjoy this Western. Mad Dog and Glory, a film with Robert De Niro, Uma Thurman, and Bill Murray. Directed by John McNaughton. For the director of Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. A kind of love story comedy with Robert De Niro and Bill Murray fighting over Uma Thurman. Crazy. This is one I talk about when I was talking about documentaries. Specifically, not quite Hollywood, about Australian exploitation. This is about the Philippines. Machete Maidens Unleashed. We got the movie I Was Sent. Has Patrick Swayze in it. Letters from a Killer. Thank you for that. In and Out. I don't mind this comedy. It has Kevin Kline, Tom Selleck, Joan Cusack, Matt Dillon, Wilford Brimley, Bob Newhart, directed by Frank Oz. I had fun with this comedy. Another film I Was Sent, Patrick Swayze, Green Dragon. Got this for Chevy Chase. I actually had some fun with this film. Funny Farm. French Kiss. I like these two, Kevin Kline and Meg Ryan. That's why I wanted to see it. Frantic with Harrison Ford. The Firm. Pretty decent flick with Tom Cruise. Decent thriller. Just the best way to describe it. Firestorm. Was curious to see this again. I think this was the first R-rated film that my friend Mike saw in the theater. Yeah, it's one of those that has some good technical aspects to it. Fire effects, explosions. But Howie Long was the wrong choice. He was good. He was fine in Broken Arrow, but as a lead, he just doesn't work. Falcon Rising with Michael Jai White. I still need to pick up Blood and Bone one day, because that's I think that's a DVD-R I have. I said this before I was collecting Matthew McConaughey films in my last part, so Failure to Launch, which also has Terry Bradshaw in it, and Bradley Cooper. Michael Douglas Demi Moore film with, I believe Dennis Miller's in this. Disclosure, directed by Barry Levinson. Desperate Measures, fun performance by Michael Keaton. And let's see, we got Chevy Chase and Jack Palance. I didn't mind this film for what it was. I know I'm alone in that. I didn't mind this film. Cops and Robertsons. Not great by any chance, but I had fun with it. I was curious to see this again, and yeah, it was just as shitty as I remember. But Dennis Quaid is good. That's Cold Creek Manor. I like Dennis Quaid, but yeah. Wants to market itself as a horror film, and it's nothing horror or supernatural about it. I talked about Dana Carvey film I had called Opportunity Knocks. So another film of his, Clean Slate. James Earl Jones, Kevin Pollak, and Michael Murphy are in this as well. I think the same guy who directed Volcano, Mick Jackson, directed this before that. And then some comedies I was curious about. Addicted to Love. I like Matthew Broderick and Meg Ryan. And Meg Ryan, what the fuck happened to her face? Like, she had some shitty plastic surgery and she looks like an alien. And she looked beautiful. So what if you had a few wrinkles in old age? Fine. That looks better than looking like a alien version of a baby doll. Fucking shit. Fuck off with the plastic surgery, but those two. And I don't mind Hugh Grant. And one of them actually has Dennis Quaid in it, speaking of which. But About a Boy and American Dreams. American Dreams kind of sucks. But About a Boy was pretty decent, actually. Good performance by Hugh Grant. I liked About a Boy. It's comedy, but a bit of drama as well. And, excuse me. Put these away and get the others. Take a little time, so sorry about that. But, yeah, Hugh Grant. There's another one he did, which I'll talk about later. It's over there on the other side of the room, called Extreme Measures, which I really liked. That was a pretty good thriller, actually. It's too bad he didn't do more of those, to be honest. But I actually liked that one. And, please don't fall. Thank you. Okay. First off, we have Al Pacino playing Dr. Jack Kevorkian in You Don't Know Jack. Then a film that I really enjoyed, The Wolf of Wall Street. That was pretty damn good, actually. Next up we have, I was going through my John Carpenter collection, and yeah, I have this one now. Actually no, someone sent this to me. I'm an idiot. Someone did send this to me. See, that's how my memory's going. I'm like, did I buy this? Maybe I did. I remember now. Someone did send this to me. And which I'm fine with, because for the John Carpenter collection, even though I think it's his worst film. But yeah, The Ward. Yeah, someone sent this to me. I'm an idiot. And yeah, my memory isn't always the best, so I apologize. I was curious about this because of the actors Al Pacino, Matthew McConaughey, and Rene Russo. 2 for the money. Kind of disappointed in it, though. Ransom. Ricochet, which I know someone was asking me about, and I liked the film. I liked the flick. What was that song at the end of that? I can't remember now. Because I know like one of the lyrics. Oh yeah. I must have seen this a long time ago and just didn't remember the movie. I just remember the end credits because I always remember that suicide, it's a suicide, suicide, it's a suicide at the end credits. But yeah, I want to review this one day down the road, but not anytime soon. But I did like Ricochet for what it was. Directed by Russell Mulcahy, I believe. Yeah. Wanted to give this another shot, Smoking Aces, and it was just as shitty as I remember. Talladega Nights, I saw this a long time ago for the first time with Mike, OCP, because he was a big fan of this movie, and I quite enjoyed it, so had to pick it up. And another fun one, This is Spinal Tap. Gotta pump it up to 11. A Sam Raimi Western, which is interesting for the supporting cast. The Quick and the Dead. Yeah, Sam Raimi Western. You have Gene Hackman, Russell Crowe, Leonardo DiCaprio, Lance Henriksen, Keith David, Pat Hingle, Gary Sinise, Kevin Conway. The problem is that I started Sharon Stone, and she wasn't really that believable in the role, or she seemed kind of, I don't know. Maybe it's the script, but I don't know, her character I didn't really care for, and she's the lead. Like Russell Crowe I liked better, and even DiCaprio I liked better. The Out-of-Towners, the original with Jack Lemmon. Old School, had never seen this, so I was curious about. Feels a bit overrated because it wasn't as funny as I guess everyone said it was. I mean, that's just my opinion. But, you know, not an awful movie at all. It was like a time waster at best. But that's Old School. Considering all I heard about, I thought it was a bit overrated. The Man in the Iron Mask. Michael Keaton, Multiplicity. Yes. The Last Dragon with Timok. And these I was curious about because films that you would see on cable, see what these were like. Meg Ryan and Hugh Jackman and Kate and Leopold. Sort of a kind of romantic comedy. And another one with Meg Ryan. I like Meg Ryan, that's why. And Walter Matthau and Tim Robbins, IQ, where Walter Matthau played Albert Einstein. This one I was curious about because I had Ben Affleck, Sam Rockwell, Alyssa Milano, John Rhys Davies, and that's Glory Days. Glory Days. Which, considering the title, they should have had that song in the movie, but they don't. But yeah, Glory Days. This was sent to me. Great film, Field of Dreams. The Departed, which I liked. A Roger Howard film, which I thought was a pretty decent flick. Crossworlds, for a direct-to-video movie. For the Steve Martin collection, Bringing Down the House. Film I was curious to give another look. This is directed by Stephen Hopkins and has Jeff Bridges and Tommy Lee Jones and Forrest Whitaker. Blown Away, which I was not blown away by, except Good Explosions. Jeff Bridges was good, but that's pretty much it. And this I was curious about, but wasn't as good as I thought it'd be. Best in Show. Doesn't know. I mean, you have some of the guys who was involved with This is Spinal Tap, and just didn't think it was that good, to be honest. That's that. No, not yet. We're not done yet. I was curious to give this another look because I didn't remember much. Kurt Russell and Kevin Costner and 3,000 Miles to Graceland, which I'm fine to have because I like both of the actors. This film, once again, I didn't remember anything about, and seeing it again, I know why, because it's really shitty. And that's the 13th Warrior. This one I thought was pretty decent. Marlon Wayans and Kadeem Hardison, The Sixth Man. Got this because I was curious about, well, it's The Holiday, Sleepless in Seattle, It Could Happen to You, and Something's Gotta Give. I was curious about these two movies. It Could Happen to You with Nicolas Cage, and Something's Gotta Give, which has Jack Nicholson, Keanu Reeves. I'm a Keanu Reeves fan, and Jack Nicholson fan, so I like collecting Jack Nicholson's flicks. And this for Charles Bronson has The Mechanic, Assassination, and Messenger of Death. So now I gotta put all that away. People may go like, really? Yes, really. I do. Just how I am. Okay, we'll do this. But yeah, I don't collect much, but I do collect movies, and you know I like collecting movies. Best way to collect movies is have patience. Of course, it helps when you have a lot of nice people who have sent you stuff. I gotta mention that because it's the truth. But even, you know, stuff to buy, you gotta wait for the best deals. Unfortunately, around here, there's only about 3 or 4 places to buy movies at. Well, other than online. There's a place called Stuff, which is not really a pawn shop, but kinda. One pawn shop and Walmart are really the 3 places. And maybe like Target, but the Target sucks. I know because I used to work for them. But, moving on. Film I really enjoyed and think is underrated. Zathura. Directed by Jon Favreau. Really enjoyed this flick. Film I was curious about because of the cast, but it's pretty shitty. Tom Hanks and John Candy and volunteers. Yeah, this was a pretty awful film. Good flick. Taxi Driver. Found this for very cheap. For the, honestly, for the I have a George Romero collection. I want to collect more of his movies. So if I find them for cheap, like $1 or $2 or such. So Survival of the Dead. A film that I didn't think was that bad. It wasn't that good, but I don't think it was that bad. Striptease. Ving Rhames, Armand Assante, Robert Patrick. Armand Assante is a good guy. Burt Reynolds was fun as a crazy, I think he was a senator, congressman. But I don't think Demi Moore was that bad. I was fine with it. But yeah, Starsky and Hutch. This is actually a brand new one because the one I had was scratched. So, got this one. Very, very, very cheap. And it was a time, I liked it as a time waster enough to find it very cheap to get another one. But, not great, but time waster. Silver Streak for the Richard Pryor collection. And now I have all of them with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. Role Models. Was curious about this film showing starring Paul Rudd. It was there. This was a movie of sent to me, Risky Business. Watching it, I didn't mind the film. Pleasantville. Really liked it. Probably my favorite film with Tobey Maguire in it. Of course, this is a great find. The Night Stalker and the Night Strangler. I showed you in a few parts the Kolchak TV Is that over here? No, it's down here. Yeah, it's down here. Yeah. It's right here, so I can just pull this out. Showed you this, which is one of my favorite TV shows. I did like an hour-long review on the show. Even made my own little personal intro to it. And I was able to find the 2 TV movies, which this is a hard DVD to find, but this is a great find. That Night Stalker and Night Strangler that started it. And I think someone had sent me this. Yeah, Mean Streets. Honestly, this wasn't my cup of tea. I liked Goodfellas, I liked Taxi Driver, but Mean Streets I could not get into. This one was there, but kind of an anticlimactic, not much of an ending to it. The Laughing Policeman. I was curious because it has Walter Matthau, Bruce Dern, and Louis Gossett Jr. It was there, but I was curious about this because it's about the late night wars between David Letterman and Jay Leno, The Late Shift. There's The Killer, which I know John wants to remake because he's being an idiot. Guarding Tess, which I actually enjoyed, with Nicolas Cage and Shirley MacLaine. The Getaway, with Alec Baldwin, James Woods, who's only in it for a little bit, Kim Basinger and Michael Madsen. Wanted to collect some Burt Reynolds films, so Gator. Then we have This Was Sent to Me, Frightmare, which I honestly didn't care for, but if I ever do a slasher movie marathon, I'll review that. I like these two, Sandra Bullock and Ben Affleck, Forces of Nature. Great flick. Flight of the Navigator. Try to give this another shot. I know this is a DVD that at one point was hard to find, probably not anymore. But the 2 disc of The Final Countdown, which has an interview with Lloyd Kaufman, who was an associate producer and had a small bit in the movie. Interview with the F-14 Fighter Squadron, who did some of the footage. But yeah, this is a movie that, cool idea, but just pretty boring execution. Another one I was curious about, because of Keanu Reeves, Vincent D'Onofrio, Feeling Minnesota. For the Charles Bronson collection, The Evil That Men Do, which I liked. Not as good as The Truman Show, but it was alright. Ed TV. This I didn't mind. I thought it was pretty fun flick. Dodgeball. Again for the George Romero collection, Diary of the Dead, very cheap. Just need to collect. I want to get the Crazies that George Romero did. Not the remake, I have the remake, but the original he did of the Crazies. But it was another fun flick with Kevin Kline, Sigourney Weaver. Ivan Reitman directed it. Dave. Then we have film I was curious about because of Paul Rudd. No, not Paul Rudd. Jason Bateman. Vince Vaughn, Faison Love, and Jon Favreau, Couples Retreat. Again for the George Romero collection, Bruiser. And Blades of Glory, which is a decent Will Ferrell flick. And I was curious to watch this again because of Jim Varney, who I miss a lot. Love his Ernest films, which I'll talk about when I get over there. But the Beverly Hillbillies, which also had, what's that guy's name? Diedrich Bader, who was on Whose Line Is It Anyway? No? Was he on that? He was on. No, he was on the Drew. Was it the Drew Carey show? He's not on Whose Line Is It? What the hell was he in Deidre Bader? I can't remember now. I'm an idiot. But Dabney Coleman, Lily Tomlin, Cloris Leachman, Leah Thompson. Yeah, Deidre Bader. God, no, I have a brain fart. What was he in? But yeah, the Beverly Hills Billies. It doesn't matter. Fuck it. It doesn't matter. I could just look you up in the comments section. I mean, I can just look you up on the internet when I get done with this. Yeah, I got one more pile over here. Here we go. Last one over here. Starting off with The Witches of Eastwick with Jack Nicholson. Once again, I like Sandra Bullock. I like Bill Pullman, so I was curious about this film while you were sleeping. Film that was sent to me, Wall Street. Very cool. Well, the movie isn't very cool to be honest watching it, but I'm glad I have for the features. With Michael Douglas and Charlie Sheen talk about the film. The film itself, I'm just not a fan of the Wall Street stuff. I like Trading Places, but it's not one of my favorite Eddie Murphy comedies because of that. The whole Wall Street thing and stock markets and Up in the Air, which I enjoyed with George Clooney. And Traceable, which I was curious to give another look. Yeah. This was sent to me, Unforgiven. And did get a few Clint Eastwood flicks. 2 Meals for Sister Sarah. Got Tequila Sunrise for Mel Gibson and Kurt Russell. 16 Candles. I had Breakfast Club. I had Weird Science, so why not 16 Candles? Requiem for a Dream, which I enjoyed. I believe I reviewed the film. People vs. Larry Flint, which I think is a good drama. Someone sent this to me, Planet of the Vampires. Did have some good atmosphere. I will say that. It had some pretty good atmosphere. Some more Clint Eastwood flicks. Pale Rider. And The Outlaw Josie Wales. Nick Nolte and North Dallas 40. I said this before, I was curious to see how bad this was. Night of the Lepus. And it has McCoy from Star Trek. Yes. That guy, I already forgot his name. DeForest Kelly. This is I mentioned Steve Martin. This is the one that I really enjoyed. LA Story. It's quirky, interesting. You don't take the film too seriously. Oh, also directed by Mick Jackson. I thought he did a good job with this. Who directed Volcano and what was that movie? Clean Slate. Night Moves with Christopher Lambert. There's another one that was sent to me. Kiss of Death. I liked the flick. David Caruso, Samuel Jackson. That was a pretty good flick, Kiss of Death. Thank you for that. Another Clint Eastwood film, Joe Kidd. Film I was curious about: Kevin Kline, Susan Sarandon, Harvey Keitel, Danny Aiello, Rod Steiger, The January Man. Another Eastwood film, Hannum High. And The Gauntlet. Pretty good flick that no one talks about, Flatliners. For Toby Hooper, Eaten Alive. For the Toby Hooper collection. And another Eastwood film, Coogan's Bluff. And we got, for Gene Hackman, who I really enjoy as an actor, The Conversation. Colors and At Close Range. Jack Nicholson film called The Border. Pretty dumb comedy. I think someone actually sent this to me. Black Sheep. And a Robert Forster film called The Banker. I think I reviewed The Banker. I can't remember. Can't remember if I reviewed it actually. Maybe I didn't. See, my memory is sometimes just not the best. I know I've said that before, but I do apologize, folks. And then we're done with over here. Shit. Come on, bring that back up here. And there. And there. We go. Okay. Move this over to here. Don't upset this too much. So I just need to take a little sip. Okay. Okay, we got about 30 minutes left in this part. So we'll go over here. My Lou Diamond Phillips collection. I have this on Blu-ray, but I'm keeping the DVD because I love the film a lot. The First Power. Love this movie. I reviewed it multiple times. Extreme Justice. Absalom with Christopher Lambert and Ron Perlman. Of course, classic Young Guns. Not a fan of Young Guns 2. I like the song Blaze of Glory, but the fact that they pretty much kill everybody, like Kiefer and Lou Diamond, and just pissed me off. A film that was sent to me a long time ago, A Better Way to Die. A film that I think is a pretty underrated flick called Lone Hero. Sean Patrick Flannery. I don't know if I want to give away or wait for a review. Pretty much Lou Diamond Phillips is the head of these bikers. They fucking with this desert town. And early in the film, Sean Patrick Flannery plays hero and stops Lou Diamond Phillips, and he gets put in jail, and his buddies are on comm. And they fuck up the police there, and Sean Patrick Flannery, he's not a cop, but he does sort of like, kind of like a Wild West show type of thing. And you also have Robert Forster as a friend of Sean Patrick Flannery. I just thought Sean Patrick Flannery, Robert Forster, Lou Diamond Phillips all did a great job. He has some pretty good bits of action, especially in the third act. Good shootout. Route 666 from the guy who directed that film I reviewed, Scarecrows. Bats, Bats, which I enjoy. I like the film. Jeff Speakman's in this, but he's only in it for like a tiny bit, which is disappointing. But the Lou Diamond stars in Striking Range. Yeah, I think this was made for cable. It's a killer shark movie. Red Water. Wish it was a bloodier movie, I will admit that. Murder at the Presidio. Right here. Malevolent. And a film called Hangman. Unfortunately, I don't have all of his. I know one off the top of my head I need to get is Renegades with him and Kiefer Sutherland. Definitely need to pick that up sometime, as well as a few others. Let's see. Deal with a couple of these. I might as well go on top here. TV show sort of inspired by Jackass and Viva La Bam with Steve-O and Chris Pontius. Wild Boys, the first season, the second season, and wait, that's this one. The second season, and the third and fourth season. And I know these are random, but I have this with the down there with the better cover that my friend Mike sent me, but this is the other one I have. Stephen King's Graveyard Shift. Let's see, that's the shitty cover I was talking about whenever I talk about the movie. And yes, I still have the DVD-R of Moontrap, which my friend Michael Keane sent me, because the DVD from overseas, which I'm glad I have because it has the features, and someone sent that to me, and I'm really glad for that. But the picture quality was shitty, so if I watch the movie, I'm going to stick with this. Pretty decent series from HBO, From the Earth to the Moon. And these were sent to me. I haven't reviewed these. One day I will, because there's, I think, like 8 of these movies. But yeah, this was sent to me, Blood Fist 1 through 4. And then Blood Fist 6, Ground Zero, which is sort of like a low-budget Die Hard ripoff. Let's put those away. Yeah, let's go with this. Some Roddy Piper stuff, which I have. Get rid of some antivirus. Very nice to have this because I had a copy that cut off the ending and someone sent this to me. I'm really happy about it. I really enjoy this film. Jungle Ground, which is funny because it has a picture of They Live on the back. But I miss Roddy Piper, I really do. And this is one of those I really enjoyed, Jungle Ground. One day I gotta do a Roddy Piper marathon. Got to. But some of them I've reviewed, like someone sent this to me, and Tough and Deli, which I enjoyed, which that picture is from Back in Action, but that is Tough and Deli, which I really enjoyed that one. Towns of the Eagle, not so much, with Billy Blanks and Jalal Murray. But yeah, Tough and Deli I really enjoyed. And I do have Back in Action. And this other movie, Hard Case and Fist, actually has Carter Wan from Big Trouble in Little China. And then Ted Pryor, who unfortunately passed away. I think he did Deadly Prey, that movie. I remember not thinking much of that movie, or this movie, but Back in Action, I thought it was alright, but I liked Deadly more. But this is, I thought, a decent flick. Last to Surrender, with Roddy Piper. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent film. Hell Comes to Fraud Town. DEFCON 4 sucks, but Hell Comes to Fraud Town. I know there's a special edition overseas on Blu-ray, but it's bullshit because you need a region-free Blu-ray player and it can't be released in the US for some stupid reason, and it's bullshit. This 3-pack of Warnings from Space I got because it has Billy Drago and Roddy Piper and Sci-Fighters, which, to be honest, was rather crappy and boring. It also has Zontar, The Thing from Venus, and Slipstream with Mark Hamill and Bill Paxton. So, and then before the Expendables is the Bad Pack, which is so crazy because look at this. That looks just like the Expendables. I shit you not. In this DVD, I mean, the movie came out in 1998. And this is a Lionsgate DVD that didn't come out. That came out soon after. But look at this. If I can get this out. Shit. Look at this. Look at how they stand. Look at that. What, does someone see the Bad Pack? Even that, with, the Expendables playing, it's so weird. And then, go figure. It's a hell of a coincidence. Unfortunately, this is a really shitty film. But I was curious about it because it's Robert Davi as a good guy, like he was in Maniac Cop 2 and 3. Yeah, Roddy Piper, but Roddy Piper barely gets to do much in the film. You also have Larry B. Scott, who is in Revenge of the Nerds and Iron Eagle, which I have, where did I put? That's around here somewhere. Where did I put it? Yeah, down there. But, yeah, that's the Bad Pack. Unfortunately, a pretty bad movie, but it is what it is. Okay. I guess I can start with these. The Warriors? Unfortunately, it's a stupid director's cut, but I don't know if the original cut is out there for release, but the stupid comic book director's cut bullshit. The original to 2 Box Murders, which was sent to me. Which I saw and wasn't really my cup of tea, to be honest. I do enjoy this film though, Sneakers. Al Pacino, Too Bad, Dog Day Afternoon, and Serpico. My friend, I believe my friend Effrey gave this to me, which was very nice of him. Tim Allen film, The Santa Claus. Don't really care about the sequels. Glory and the Patriot. Jerry Maguire, which I don't mind the film. JFK, which has a hell of a cast. Kevin Costner, Kevin Bacon, Tom Lee Jones, Gary Oldman, Michael Rooker, Sissy Spacek, John Candy. Just a shitload of people in this movie. The Ice Harvest, which I was curious about because it has John Cusack, Billy Bob Thornton, and it's directed by Harold Ramis. The late Harold Ramis, another guy that we lost Way too soon. Tom Selleck film, Her Alibi. I'm a fan of Tom Selleck. Let's see. Empire of the Ants and Tentacles. There we go. We got The Edge. That was a pretty good flick. Bad Influence, which was sent to me. I think the Empire of the Ants was sent to me as well. Sorry about that. So thank you for these. I didn't mind Bad Influence. Rob Lowe and James Spader. And Baby's Day Out. I was curious about this because I remember seeing this when I was a kid. And yeah, John Hughes had a hand in producing this and writing this. Yeah, John Hughes wrote this film. So Joe Mantegna, Joe Pantoliano. I'll wait on that. I'll just go over here and get these. This one I was curious about because I'd never seen this DVD before. To the Galaxy and Beyond with Mark Hamill, a century of science fiction cinema. I mean, you got Predator, you got Alien, you got Aliens. Narrated by Mark Hamill. I was curious about it. And I mean, most of them they talk about as 20th Century Fox movies, but I mean, it's pretty much a fluff piece, just going through nothing. It has nothing that you don't know about, let me put it that way. But it was for curiosity's sake, for Mark Hamill narrating it. Spies Like Us. Quick Change. The Bill Murray collection. I was curious about this, but it was disappointing. The Number Station with John Cusack. I like Hugh Grant, so I don't mind certain movies like these, like this. Notting Hill. I will admit that. Necessary Evil, Supervillains of DC Comics. Curious. I like documentaries like that. Got this for Patrick Swayze. Icon. Problem with this, it's way too long. It's 173 minutes. Way too long. I'm sorry. Patrick Swayze I like, though. Again, speaking of Hugh Grant, music lyrics, that one didn't work. That's why in an earlier part, well, maybe earlier you saw another version because music lyrics didn't work. But this has 2 weeks notice, An Awfully Big Adventure, and Mickey Blue Eyes with James Caan. And then 2 weeks notice with Sandra Bullock. The Green Zone with Matt Damon, which I thought was a time waster. Some good acting in this. Glenn Ross. Al Pacino, Jack Lemmon, Ed Harris, Kevin Spacey, Alec Baldwin. A film I really did enjoy with Dylan McDermott, Freezer. Got a lot of hate, I don't get it. Speaking of which, I said this earlier, A Fish Called Wanda. This is a 2-disc collector's edition. Casino, which I enjoyed. Bliss the Child, which I thought was a decent flick, written by Chuck Russell, and you have Jimmy Smits, who I liked in it. Kim Basinger did a good job. That was an alright film. The Austin Powers movies, has all 3 of them. Film Nicolas Cage and Samuel Jackson and Amos and Andrew. When you talk about these 2 guys, no one ever mentions this movie. It was an alright film. And this, I like the cast. Billy Crystal, John Cusack, Julia Roberts, Catherine Zeta-Jones, America's Sweethearts. And we can end this. Yeah, that's the best way to end this part, actually. Is on a guy who is greatly, greatly missed. Really is. Really miss this guy. So, got a lot of his movies. Because again, just, miss the guy. And of course, that is Mr. Robin Williams. So we have, in no particular order, Bicentennial Man, Dead Poets Society, The Birdcage, Good Will Hunting, the 15th Anniversary Edition, Mrs. Doubtfire, which I was never a big fan of the guy in drag type of comedy, but I watched this again, and just Robin Williams makes the film enjoyable to watch. Old Dogs, Good Morning Vietnam, the 25th Anniversary Edition, which has a few features. No interviews with Robin Williams, unfortunately, but Jack, The Fisher King, one of the only Terry Gilliam films I like, along with Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Those are the only two Terry Gilliam films I like. And Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I think I showed before. I think I did, yeah, I did, when I was talking about those comedies over there. Hook, Patch Adams. I got this for the first film, Awakenings. The Survivors with Walter Matthau. Angriest Man in Brooklyn, which wasn't too great, to be honest, but I mean, Robin Williams. Death to Smoochie, and also has 1 Hour Photo, but I think I got that separately. His newest one, Boulevard. John, maybe I'll review this sometime, give my thoughts on it after that. Flubber, Cadillac Man, which I really enjoy, Cadillac Man, Robin Williams Live on Broadway, The Final Cut, Popeye, Jumanji, World's Greatest Dad, The Best of Times, License to Wed, and like I was saying before, 1 Hour Photo, What Dreams May Come, Toys, one of my favorites of his, House of D, which David Duchovny has a supporting role and directed, Night at the Museum 1 and 2. Actually, I've not seen the third one yet. Nine Months, which has a supporting role with Robin Williams. This Pack, which has The Night Listener with Robin Williams. RV. Insomnia. Man of the Year, the Big White, which also has Woody Harrelson, Holly Hunter, and Giovanni Ribisi. Father's Day, which also has 2 Billy Crystal films for Dear Paris and My Giant. And my favorite, along with toys, Club Paradise. So, end it with Mr. Robin Williams. Thanks for watching, take care, and we will see you in another video later.